Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those who are watching today's class. My name is Alex, and I will be doing the practice speaking with you today based on the different parts of the IELTS test. So, first of all, just a quick test. Can you hear me? Hopefully you can. A warm welcome to those who are joining us today. I can see already that we have a number of students who have joined us in the class, so that is great to see. If you are watching live on YouTube or Facebook, then let me know. Let me know your name and where you're watching from. And if you're watching from within the class as well, I look forward to doing some speaking practice with you soon. So I can see that in the class we've got Anna, Francisca, Eric, Mark, Elena, Eagle, Alice, and Kelvin as well. So yeah, great to see so many people here ready to do some speaking practice. I look forward to working with as many of you as possible. Also watching us live on Facebook, we have Aval Naliv. So welcome to you. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly there, but Aval Naliv is watching from Saudi Arabia. And also Abby, we have in the class today. So welcome to you, Abby. Both watching live on Facebook. Okay. We're also broadcasting on YouTube as well. So let me know if you're watching us from YouTube. Ayesha is watching on Facebook from Pakistan. Hello to you, Ayesha. We also have Maria Cristina, who is watching from Toronto. So a very warm welcome to you, Maria Cristina. And Angelica is watching from Qatar. Welcome to you too. Yeah, Ayesha Siddiqa. Welcome, Ayesha Siddiqa. Okay, Ivy is watching as well. Would like to know how to join the mock. So I'm going to give details for that in just a moment, Ivy. Nice to see you again as well, Ayesha. Judith is watching from the Philippines. So welcome to you, Judith. Great. So great to see so many people in the class today. Okay, so Ivy was asking about joining the class live within the session. If that is something you would like to do, then you can absolutely do that. You can do that by joining the IELTS scholarship program. So if you would like to work as a nurse in the United States, if that is your dream, then here at Swoosh English and Connetics USA, we can support you in achieving that through our scholarship program. So all you have to do is click on the link, which I'll share in the chat box, and you can find out more information about this opportunity. You could do all of this, by the way, get all the support from Swoosh English and Connetics for free. Okay, so let's have a look now then at the materials for today's class. And as usual, I'll be focusing on tips related to the IELTS exam, and I'll be looking at ways in which we can improve our speaking performance. So what I want to have a look at today is the topic of suffixes. So it's very common in English to make new words using suffixes, and you'll see on the screen that you've got some examples of how we can do this. So one of the most common ways of creating suffixes is to create nouns from verbs or adjectives. So you can see here that one way of doing that is adding the suffix ment. For example, employment. Employ is the verb, employment is the noun. You can see as well that we can do that by adding the suffix ation from relax to relaxation. Shun is another common suffix, confuse to confusion. And then redundant, which is an adjective, we can convert into a noun with the term redundant. And also you'll see emerge, the verb emerge, converted to emergence. So the unt endings, ance and ence, are common ways of creating nouns from verbs or adjectives. So this is useful because creating new words expands our vocabulary, and the wider our vocabulary is, the better we will perform in the speaking test. So just as a quick challenge, can you create noun forms from the following verbs? So you'll see that you've got the verbs on the screen: preserve, persist, reveal, entertain, and disturb. Can anyone in the chat box tell me what the noun forms of these verbs should be? Okay, so we'll see if anyone can do this. Those who are in the class, if you're able to do this, let me know. Those watching on YouTube or Facebook as well, let me know if you know the answers. Okay, so we've got some good answers here. We've got perseverance, says Crystal, and persistence as well. But perseverance, it's preserve. That would have been a good answer, Crystal, if I'd had persevere on there. Preservation, persistence, revelation, entertainment, disturbance. Some really good answers there, Giraldi. Just check the spelling a little bit there, but some really good responses. We've got preservative. Yeah, preservative is actually, yeah, is an alternative. Disturbance is common. Okay, let's have a quick look. So we've got here preservation. Yep, Francisca and Angie and Golden are suggesting that. Yeah, lots of preservation from Kelvin, Mark, and Eagle. Revelation, says Kelvin. Okay, great. Entertainment as well, says Kelvin. Angie says persistence. Alice, preservation. Okay, brilliant. Okay, some really good answers there then. So let's have a look. Let's check to see if you were correct. And absolutely, we got some really good responses there. So we can see these are the answers. Preservative is an alternative as well, has a different meaning. Preservation is the act of preserving something, of keeping something alive, whereas whereas a preservative is a substance that you can add to a particular food, usually, in order to keep it alive for longer or to keep it fresher for longer. So preservative would be an alternative there for preserve. But yeah, persistence, revelation. Note the spelling change with revelation and the pronunciation change. It goes from reveal to revelation. Ation, obviously the stress on the ation, as we looked at last week with the stress rules, the penultimate syllable for shin suffixes. Entertain to entertainment, and disturb to disturbance. So good, well done on your answers. Okay, so moving on, we're going to have a look now at some specific ways in which we can use this in the exam. Just before we do, I want to say a very big congratulations to Anna Karenina, who achieved her desired band score in the exam. So fantastic. Well done, Anna. Really glad to hear that you passed the exam. And I'm sure that will be great encouragement for those who are watching the class and who are participating in the class today. This is what you can do, achieve the band scores that you're looking to achieve. And you attended the class on many occasions. So great to see that, Anna. Congratulations to you. Okay, so let's have a look then at ways we can use these words in a sentence, or examples of this in a sentence. So here is an example question. We can look at the question here. It says, do you prefer spending time with family or friends? And the answer, I prefer spending time with family because you know that family will always have your back. So there's an idiomatic expression there, have your back. They'll always try to protect you, is what that idiomatic expression means. But if we look at this response, the language in the answer is very similar to the language in the question. So how could we use a suffix in order to avoid repetition in this case? Let me know if you have any suggestions. So what do you think? Which of the words in the question could we paraphrase by using a suffix? Okay, great. So Mark has suggested one, preference. So instead of saying I prefer, we could paraphrase this by using my preference. So we could use a noun form of the verb. So let's see how we could do this then. So same question, do you prefer spending time with family or friends? Answer, my preference is to spend time with family because you know that family will always have your back. So absolutely, well suggested there, Mark. Using my preference, the noun phrase, also means that we change the form of the verb spending to spend. So that shows even more in terms of examples of paraphrasing. So this is a really nice way in which we can use suffixes to extend our vocabulary and to avoid repetition. Okay, so let's have a look at another example as to how we could do this. So here is the next question. Do you think it's important for children to spend time with their parents? Answer, yes, I think that it's important for children to spend time with their parents because... So how could we use suffixes in this case in order to achieve a paraphrase? Again, let me know in the chat if you have any suggestions. Okay, good. So we've got Crystal who is suggesting importance. Absolutely. So using the suffix there, Mark also suggests importance. Yeah, we can do that, can't we? We can change important, which is an adjective, to importance, which is a noun. So let's just have a look at that together now. Do you think it's important for children to spend time with their parents? Answer, yes. The importance of children spending time with their parents cannot be overestimated. This is because, so again, we've got the paraphrasing from important to importance. Because we've changed the form of the word, whereas we'd use important for, the adjective important plus the preposition for, we use importance, noun, with of. So we've got paraphrasing there. We're showing variety in grammar as well as variety in vocabulary. And instead of using to spend, this time we're using spending as the verb form. So lots of ways in which we're paraphrasing here by changing the adjective to a noun. Also note, of course, we've got cannot be overestimated as a way of saying how important something is. So there we are then. This is a practical way that we can achieve paraphrasing by recognizing suffixes and using them in an appropriate manner. So I'll be listening out for any examples of that during the speaking practice today. So let's see if we can use that. And for our first student today in the speaking practice, I'm going to be bringing in Elena. So I'll bring her in just a moment. Just before I do, we're going to be starting today's speaking practice with speaking part 3. And for those who are less familiar with the IELTS, speaking part 3 will last between 4 to 5 minutes. It will be linked to a topic in part 2. The structure is a Q&A format with the examiner. So the examiner asks questions, you give responses, but the questions will be abstract. So you should ensure that your responses use a clear structure, that you give an opinion, and that you explain and justify your opinion where possible. Okay, so here are the first set of questions we're going to look at together, Elena. So let me bring you into the class now. Hi there, Elena. Are you there? No, it doesn't seem like it.
Hi, good evening.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Good, good, good. Welcome to the class, Elena. Have you participated in this class before?
I think I was able to participate last year. I think it's a long time ago.
So you've had a long break.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you today, Elena?
Uh, Actually, I'm from Philippines, but I'm right now in United Arab Emirates.
Okay. And how long have you been there for?
I think I almost here for 3 years.
Wow. Are you enjoying it there?
Yeah, actually.
Perfect. Good. Okay. So, Elena, we're going to do some practice with these part three questions. The first question I have for you is, how do you communicate with friends and family?
Well, there's a lot of things to do in. Hello.
Hello?
Okay, okay. I am audible.
Yes.
Okay. Can I start?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. There's a lot of communication process here in our country, especially nowadays, because nowadays communication, like you send email to communicate your family, and at the same time you have to use your cell phone by communicating your family. So there are a lot of options. Either you use your email or you can use your telephone by communicating your family and friends.
And which form of communication do you prefer using?
For me right now, I prefer to use my telephone because even though if I'm in my work, if I'm not busy, I can communicate my family in the Philippines, especially if you are using the Zoom application. So I can communicate them, especially in our area. The connection is very good.
Do you think that communicating virtually is the same as communicating physically?
In my opinion, communication by virtual is not like you are communicating face to face to your family. Because if you are communicating face to face with your family, I it's like you have an intimate emotion. At the same time, you can hug or you can kiss your parents. But if you are communicating through virtual, so you just see in the camera. For me, it's better to communicate face to face. But now, in this situation, we cannot because of the pandemic. We are not allowed to go home in our country. So, virtual communication is more useful than face to face communication. This is our traditional communication before.
Do you think that there are certain skills which you can use in a virtual environment that will make communication better?
Come again?
Do you think there are certain skills that you can use in a virtual environment that will make communication better?
Absolutely, there is. For example, before I communicate through Messenger to my family, but the connection is not good. So sometimes it can be interrupted. So now I use the new application, which is the Zoom. So my family from the Philippines and my friends from other countries, especially Canada and USA, where my friends are, we can communicate at the same time. It's the the connection is good, so we can talk each other clearly, not like the messenger before. So that's why I prefer and I opted to use this Zoom application using virtual communication.
Okay, thank you very much, Elena. Some really nice responses to the questions there. Some nice use of vocabulary. I particularly liked there was some paraphrasing as well. So using face to face, the way of paraphrasing, being with someone physically, which was nice. You gave reasons for your answers. You used some linking expressions as well, such as even though. Um, Also, you were clearly showing opinions. For me, it's better. So using some of the key language which is appropriate for part three. Um, just a tip. So one of the questions you weren't quite sure about, and you said, come again in the exam. I would phrase that slightly differently. So I would say, could you repeat that, please?
Okay,
Yeah, just because it would be more appropriate within an exam context. Um, so
thank you.
No worries. Um, but yeah, there were some good things. Just be careful also in terms of grammar, Elena, with prepositions. So you talked about at one point, you said, I can communicate them. You then said to communicate your family. So when you use communicate, you should always use it with, if you've got a noun afterwards, use it with with. So communicate with your family. Communicate with them. So just make sure you're using prepositions. And also at one point as well, you said we can talk each other. So it's a similar thing, talk to each other. So yeah, in both cases there, we just missed the preposition. So just be careful about that.
Preposition.
Yeah, yeah. So communicate
Yeah,
with,
thank you so much. And
talk to.
to.
Exactly. Yeah, and just a final point, Elena, at one stage as well, you talked about, so you're using connectors, which is great, but at one stage you said, even though if I'm in my work, so don't use though and if together. So in this case, you just want to say, even if I'm at work, that would have been the appropriate conjunction to use in that case. Yeah, even if I'm at work. So yeah, you just don't need to use though and if together. That was the only point with that one. But yeah, aside from that, some really good stuff.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you, Elena, and thank you for getting us started.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.
So I'm going to bring Eags into the class now. How you doing, Eags?
I am good. How are
Good.
you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How have you been over the last few weeks?
I'm good. I'm still studying the Swoosh application.
Still working towards your goals.
Yes, of course.
Good, good. Are you getting closer?
Yeah, I'm
Good.
module 6, I think.
Perfect. Good. So yeah, soon you'll be ready to get in the exam room and show what you've learned.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. So Eagle, we're going to move on to a different topic now, and the topic we're going to move on to is art. So I'd like to ask you, Eagle, what kind of traditional handicrafts are popular in your country?
We have actually different types of handmade products like uh, a basket or even in other things like bags made from um, a recycled materials and even the other woods or even made from a tree. So those I think most of the uh, popular handicrafts that we usually have in my country.
Are handicrafts popular with young people in your country?
Not actually, but most of in our most of the citizens in the countryside are really familiar about this kind of products, but some of them usually still patronizing those kind of products. But then again, it is actually handmade, great handmade products from my country. So therefore, most of the individuals, even living in the city, they're usually aware of about the importance and even the importance of that specific products that usually our native friends in the countryside made that kind of products.
What are the benefits of making handicrafts?
I think it is actually the having the great hand skill, even in having the or practicing the fine motor skills. So that's the reason that or the importance of uh, or the benefits of doing the handmade products, and it is very it is actually very good um, practice for you to be able to have the good way of thinking in order for you to create something new that is very useful, especially those handicraft products that is beneficial to the citizens.
Do you think that the government should help in the promotion of traditional products?
Most probably, especially if you are in the native country that giving much value in the traditional products or even the well-known item in that specific country. So it is actually the edge of of each country for them to be able to be popular to other country that they have this kind of products, especially the handmade products that are really useful and one of the way of living by each citizens in the specific country.
Okay, thank you very much there, Eagle. So, some detailed responses to the questions. There was still a bit of hesitation, but less hesitation than previously. So, I think you're getting a bit more confident in delivering your answers, which is good. Like I said, still a little bit of work to do just to reduce the hesitation, but I can see some improvements. Some nice use of vocabulary in there. So fine motor skills, that was a nice expression to use. Also, you included, you were talking about, some paraphrasing. So instead of handicrafts, you said handmade. So it was good to see you doing a bit of paraphrasing as well. Just be careful with repetition. So you use the word product a lot throughout, and instead of repeating that word, you could have used referencing instead. So you could have said, simple things like pronouns like them, people use them for, or use these things for. So we could have used some of these referencing devices rather than repeating the word. And that is an important element of fluency if we're able to use referencing instead of repetition. You gave clear responses in terms of showing your opinion, but at one point, when I asked about young people using handicrafts, you said, not actually. But grammatically, we'd want to say actually no. That would be the more grammatical response to that. So it was clear. Your answer was clear, but yeah, just to make it a bit more grammatically accurate, you could have said that. Just a final thing in terms of prepositions. So you talked about being familiar about products, but it should be familiar with. Yeah. And also you talked about products being popular to others, but also popular with others. So yeah, just make a note of those prepositions.
Okay,
But yeah, other than that, well done.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eagle. And good luck in your continuing progress. Okay, so I'm going to bring Kelvin into the class now to continue. Hi there, Kelvin.
Hi.
Hi,
Sorry,
how are
I'll
you?
just lower down the volume of the television because
Okay,
I'm with my
that's fine.
baby. Sorry.
That's
Yeah,
fine, no
I'm
problem.
ready.
Okay, how are you today, Kelvin?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm doing well. Is this your first time in the class?
Yes, it's my first time because I just found I'm off today,
Mm.
and because I'm really having a hard time like looking for a time to join the classes.
Mm.
So it's a good thing that I'm off today, and I took
Yeah,
the opportunity
absolutely.
to join.
Oh, good. Well, we're glad you took the opportunity. And where
Yeah.
do you work? Which country?
I'm a Filipino and I'm currently working in the UK in
Okay.
London. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
Thanks.
this is obviously the middle of the afternoon, isn't it, in the
Yeah.
UK
It's
today?
around 4:30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in the UK as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
I can tell from your accent.
Right.
Yeah.
Does it sound like a London accent or somewhere
Yeah,
different?
I think London. London
Sounds like
accent.
London, yeah. I'm actually
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the country, so I've got a mixture
Okay.
going on. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Kelvin, let's move on to a new topic. And the topic we will be looking at now is health. So this should be a familiar topic for you. But yeah, let's have a look at some of these questions together. So, Kelvin, first of all, do you think that people have enough awareness of their health in their day-to-day lives?
I think people are really not aware of their health in their everyday life because they just take it for granted. Because if people like just go on with their lives, and if they were too busy like juggling work and having a recreational activities, then health would be their last priority.
And what do you think can be done to help people become more aware of their health?
I think the government should implement um, training, awareness courses or seminars in order to for the people to be aware of their health. And also, with all the risks that have been around, like especially with the pandemic that's going on, I think it is really good for the government to really use online platforms such as the internet and YouTube channel so that people would be aware and to be informed of their health.
What are the consequences of people not being aware of their health?
Well, one consequences if people are not aware of their health is they would be really unwell, especially when, say for example, the pandemic that's happening right now. If the people are not aware of the mode of transmission of this virus, the ways in which how to avoid the transmission, then it would be really bad for them because they will contract the disease.
Do you think people are healthier now than they were 20 years ago?
I don't think people are healthier now because of we are in the era of fast foods, sedentary lifestyle, and with the advancement and innovations brought about by technology, people are more lenient when it comes to engaging in healthy lifestyle.
And do you think that doctors should be responsible for teaching people how to be healthy?
Actually, it's not only doctors who are held responsible for health education. I think it is the responsibility of both healthcare professionals and for the people, because learning is a two-way process. It needs a teacher and a learner.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Kelvin, for your answers to those questions. Some really nice use of vocabulary there, particularly some less common vocabulary expressions. So you're talking about juggling, work, and their health and other priorities. So that was really nice. Some good collocations the government should implement. You were talking about as well different ways of raising awareness. Some good ways of linking your ideas together. So especially with the pandemic you're talking about in terms of the importance of being aware of health. And then some technical language as well. So mode of transmission you used there, obviously, which is very much language related to the pandemic and health and the virus that is going on. So some really nice stuff. And sedentary lifestyle was a nice expression that you used as well. Really clear pronunciation. So there was no issue with that. Some nice use of intonation as well. So really good stuff. I think the only points that I would make in terms of improvement, there was one slight slip. So you talked about advancement. So the noun for advance is actually the same, the advance. So yeah, that was the only slip.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Yeah, so only slip in vocabulary that I heard. And also as well, like
yeah,
go on.
Clarify.
Yeah.
There's no word such as advancement then.
The advancement, it's not a common word. Let me just double check as to whether it actually exists. It does, yeah, it does exist, but it's not as common as advance, the advance of something.
So it should be like the advance of technology, or
the advance of technology, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's certainly the more common word to use. But yeah, advancement does exist as well. But it's used more in a business context than in a general speaking context. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and also, yeah, just in terms of sort of general performance. So you gave really good responses to the questions, and they were really clear. But you could have even sort of developed just a little bit more. So a good sort of structure for part 3 is, you know, give your opinion, which is what you did, give a reason why, and then a final sentence just to kind of link the two together. So, you know,
Okay.
it can be involved a little bit of repetition, and that's why I believe that it's better for the government to do this, and for that reason, I think it's not just the responsibility of healthcare professionals. So just like a final sentence as a kind of
Okay.
summary, because it just shows, again, just a little bit more expansion, so you can
Yeah.
show a bit more vocabulary, and it's a nice way of kind of
To
ending
close.
your response. Exactly, it's a good way of closing.
Yeah.
Exactly
Can
that.
I use like sayings as well or quotations to close my statement, or
For example.
like I don't know, like children are our future, like just
Yeah,
to
you
close the
can.
statement or something.
You can, yeah, yeah. Don't do it too often because then it seems like
Yeah.
it's rehearsed. But yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. If you
Understood.
were to do it like, you know, once or twice, that could be a
Okay.
nice way to end your response. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, really good stuff there, Kelvin. So
Thank
so well
you.
done. No worries.
Thank you.
Okay, so well done to all those who've participated so far. We're going to do some more practice very soon. Just before we do, just a reminder about those who want to get involved directly in the class, who are watching us on Facebook or YouTube. You can do that and get lots of extra support as well here at Swoosh English and Connetics USA in terms of achieving your goals of working and living in the United States. And you can do all of this by joining the scholarship program. And you could get all the extra support, including direct participation in the speaking class. You could get all of that support for free. So sign up today in order to get all of that support. And you can find out more information about the scholarship program by clicking on the link, which I'm sharing in the chat box now. So just have a look at that link and click on the option Staff Nurse if you want to find out more information. So we're going to look at a final part 3 question together, and this is on the topic of computer games. So let's see who is in the class today who can join us to discuss this topic. And I can see that we've got Lauren. So let me bring Lauren into the class. Hi there, Lauren. Are you there? No, it doesn't seem like Lauren is there. Okay, so let me see. We've got Lindley in the class, who I believe is a new student. Let me bring Lindley in. Hi, Lindley, are you there?
Hi. Yeah, I'm here.
Hello. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. This is my first time.
I thought it was. Welcome, Lindley. Welcome to the class. And
Thanks so much.
and where are you today? Where are you based?
Presently, I'm in Kuwait.
Ah, Kuwait. And how is life in Kuwait?
Oh, life these days with the pandemic still lurking. It's hectic in the COVID ICU. I work in the COVID ICU.
Right. No, I can imagine. I can imagine. There's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, and
Absolutely. Hi there.
hi.
Okay. So, Lindley, I'm going to ask you some questions then on the topic of computer games. Okay, and this is sort of based on part 3. So, first question that I'd like to ask you is, how have computer games changed over the last decade?
Well, as far as I can see, during my 10 years back, computer games was like not that much. Let's say the figures. I mean the what do you call this? I think some changes like the graphics itself. It was now 10 years back. It was not that much defined, and now it's like through the graphics was it's now like what do you call this? It's like a true to life.
Okay. What do you think the advantages are of people playing computer games?
One of the benefit that people can get when playing computer games is that maybe I can think that they will increase their reflexes, their mind and eye movement, and in coordination with the eye and hand movement, and yeah, it will enhance their reflexes.
Why do some adults like to play computer games, do you think?
Well, that's a difficult question, and maybe because they're addicted to it. And since some computer games nowadays, when once you started it, and I think it's difficult to separate yourself from that, because from starting, maybe I think they want to finish it, so they will not be satisfied until they will not win the game.
And what do you think some of the negative effects might be of computer games on children?
Oh, I think I just read one article about that last night. And one negative aspect of playing games with regards to these youngsters is that they're being addicted to it. And instead of playing games outdoors, they're focused on this gadget and just playing games all the time. And I think it will not be good physically. They will be like same like the couch potatoes, just watching televisions, and I think there will be no improvement in their physical, mental, and social aspect.
Okay, thank you very much, Linley. Some really good answers there. Interesting that you just read an article about the final question. That's helpful in terms of giving you some relevant and useful ideas. Yeah, some really good stuff. So nice language to give opinions. For example, as far as I can see, which you were using right at the beginning. There was also good ways as well of organizing your speaking. So you said one negative aspect in order to separate, obviously, the first point and provide some structure to what you were saying. Also, you were using some good contrasting language. So instead of playing outside, you know, they're playing computer games instead. And then there was some idiomatic language as well. So couch potatoes, you were describing them as which was used in the correct context. So that was good to see. So yeah, some really good stuff there, Lindy. Just for improvement. So there's some hesitation when you're searching for words at times, and so that would influence your fluency a little bit because of that. So at one point you were there searching for the word graphics, which you did get in the end, which was good. But if you can't think of the word, try to describe it. So you can say the way that it looks on the screen, for example. And that way you're not hesitating so much trying to find a specific word. You're able to describe it or explain it using other words. So that would stop any negative influence in terms of your fluency. Also, as well, there was a little bit in terms of pronunciation. So generally your pronunciation was accurate, but the word reflexes, so it should rest on the first, yeah, it should be reflexes. So I think the stress on that was slightly off. And then in terms of grammar as well, so at one point you're using the conditional. You were saying that they will not finish until they will not win. I think you were saying at one stage. So I would change that. You're using the first conditional, so the first clause, yeah. So they will not or they won't finish until they have won. Would be the structure to use there, or until they win. So you use will in the first clause, but not in the second clause when using a first conditional sentence. So yeah, just a few points there. But yeah, particularly what I would focus on there is just the avoiding the hesitation. And you can do that, as I said, by finding other ways of explaining words and not spending too long trying to think of specific words as you're communicating. But yeah, as I said, a lot of positive stuff in there as well, Lindley. So well done.
Thanks so much.
No worries. Thank you. and welcome
Thank you
in
for
your
the great.
first participation.
Thank you very much.
No worries, you're very welcome, Lindley. Okay, so let's have a look now then to finish the class at some part 2 questions. For part 2, for those who are less familiar, it usually lasts between 3 to 4 minutes, and it involves a presentation of a question where you'll have 1 minute to prepare your response, and then you're expected to speak on the question for up to 2 minutes. You should always aim to speak for the full 2 minutes or until the examiner interrupts you. So the first question we'll be looking at is related to communication, and I'm going to bring Jess into the class here. Are you there, Jess?
Hi, Alex.
Hi, how are
What
you
a
doing today?
difficult topic.
I'm sure you will find some good points to make on this one, Jess.
I will try my best. I'll give it a shot.
Good. How are you today? You doing well?
I'm doing well. How about you, Alex?
Yeah, I'm doing well as well, thank you. Okay, so Jess, you've got a minute then to prepare your response, and then you should speak for up to 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Jess. So please describe your favorite mode of communication.
So, okay. Actually, I really don't have idea regarding this mode of communication, but let me tell you about my favorite type of communication is using the informal communication or the face-to-face, or we should also call that as group meetings. So I often use this mode of communication with my colleagues and also with my families and friends. So it is a informal type of conversation. We often talks about random topics about life, works, and experiences. So we using this communication, we don't use these formal languages. We spontaneously speak with our minds and give some advice regarding to what they are inquiring, or they are seeking for advice to finish something or to make a decision. So um, I prefer using this type of communication because it is more comfortable. And as I said a while ago, we don't need to prepare a script. I think we don't need to prepare a script in order to tell someone regarding the topic that we are talking about. And um, we often give our honest opinion when it comes to this type of communication because there's no bias. We give some constructive criticism, and then the other party or the other party will take it as a lesson, and then they will also talk about what they want to discuss. And
Okay, thank you.
from
Thank you
yeah,
very much there, Jess. Great.
thank
You
you.
had lots to say on the topic, which was great to hear, and you were able to develop it quite well. So I was surprised when you said at the beginning, I've really have no idea about mode of communication, and then you went on to
Yes.
talk about a mode of communication for the next 2 minutes. So clearly you did have some idea. But yeah, so you're using specific vocabulary for the topic. You talked about face-to-face communication, and then you gave some nice expressions. So random topics. You said you speak spontaneously, which was nice as well. And then you talked about giving your honest opinion, no bias, constructive criticism. So yeah, it was some really nice use of language there. In terms of pronunciation, you were very clear, and you spoke at a natural, fluent pace as well. With grammar, generally speaking, you were accurate. The only mistake that I noticed was just use of S forms. I'm going to say S forms because it applied to third-person plural situations and also to nouns. So, for example, at one point you said we often talks, but because you've got we there, it's plural. Yeah, so we often talk would be the correct form there. Yeah, and then at one point it said you yeah, it happens. It happens.
Okay.
And then at one point you said, we talk about works and experiences, but work is uncountable. So yeah, so we would say work and experiences is fine, but we wouldn't use an S with work because it's uncountable.
Okay.
And then a final example of that is that you said I talk with my families and friends. So family, you've only got one family as a collective. Friends, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that was the only thing that I noticed with grammar, really. Just some slips there with the use of plural forms. But other than that, it was really nice. That was the only thing that I would pick up on, really. Apart from that, really nice development of ideas and really good demonstration of fluency as well, which is what part 2 is primarily about. So well done.
Thank you, Alex. I will search regarding this favorite mode of communication topic.
Yeah, well, no, I think you knew. I think you knew it really, because all it's asking is, do you prefer to speak on the phone, face to face, by email? That's So you answered the question very appropriately.
Okay, thank you, Alex.
No worries. Take care, Jess. Okay, so let's continue. We're going to look at another part 2 topic now. So I'm going to bring Angie into the class. Are you there, Angie?
Hi, Alex. I'm
Hi,
actually eating.
how are you doing?
I'm good.
Say that again. You're good.
I'm
Okay,
eating
brilliant.
because it's already 12 midnight here in the Philippines.
Ah, wow. What are you eating?
I feel famished. Luckily.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because I thought it's going to end, and I said, okay, I will eat and then brush my teeth and then go to sleep. All right. I thought she was the last.
No, we have time for you as well, Angie. Well, what is it you're eating?
Lacquer.
What's that?
Biscuit. Yeah, the wafer.
Oh, okay.
It's a wafer, yeah, because I feel starved.
Just a little midnight snack.
Yeah.
Well,
burning midnight oil.
Burning the okay, yeah, you're doing that. You're working hard.
Literally.
Bon appetit. Bon appetit. As they say.
I caught off guard.
That's okay. So, Angie, do you fancy then giving us a talk on the topic of art?
Come again, Alex. Sorry.
So we're looking at the topic of art. Can you see the card on the screen? Or the slide? Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, Angie. So you've got a minute then to prepare a response to this question, and then you should speak on the topic for up to 2 minutes. Is that okay?
All right.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, Angie. So please describe an art or craft activity that you did at school.
Okay. So back in the days when I was still on primary school, I remember that we had this one project before we graduated, and this is from our subject. If my memory serves me right, that was the home economics. So our advisor gave us an project to make to make the different craft or arts and craft, and one art craft that I made is paper mosaic. It is basically a paper or a newspaper, old newspaper that I soaked in a water. Then I smashed it, or I put it into a small piece of paper after it got soaked. Then I put some glue on it and place it in a mold, in a bowl. And that was something very interesting because that was my first time to make that kind of arts. And after that, after I made it, I put some paint on it. I actually put some rainbow color because I was so fascinated with different kind of color. Then after that, I gifted it to my bosom friend, and she was over the moon when she had that kind of arts and crafts, because according to her that was something personal, and she felt very special after giving that gift. So talking about that kind of craft, uh, now I am still doing that because I think I was immensely influenced with that kind of project when I was young, and all of my friends and family are happy as a clam. We're happy as a clam every time I'm giving them on Christmas Day.
Okay,
And
thank you.
okay.
Thank you, Angie. That's great. Good stuff. So there's a good
Actually,
technique that you used.
I'm not looking at the. I don't know if I was able to hit the bullet question because I'm just making story in my mind about that.
No,
Did
that
I?
is absolutely. Well, I mean, you said what it was. You were talking about making arts and crafts. You were making the
I think,
mosaic.
yeah, I was able
Um,
to
you gifted it. You were
mention it.
saying,
Okay.
yeah, and how you put it together. Yeah, you did. You hit the points, and then you
Okay.
developed on the points a bit as well, because you were talking about now your current situation, the fact that you still do it. So that was a good technique to use. Once you've sort of come
Right.
to a point where you think, okay, what more can I say? Yeah, move through the tenses.
Yeah.
So talk about
Because
how you're dealing with it now.
actually, I look at the bullet points and it says how you did it. Then I told them, okay, I'm finished that. I finished that, so I need to move on, and I will not go back there because the tendency is I will just beat around the bush. So I
Okay.
just made up a story that I'm still doing it until now. Just
Yeah,
to
why
finish in
not?
2 minutes.
Exactly. Why not? Why not? So yeah, so that was
Okay.
good. So you kept on going for the 2 minutes, which was great, and you gave relevant information. Just to be clear, so it was a mosaic that you made, right?
Yeah, paper mosaic. Yeah, mosaic.
Yeah, mosaic.
Mosaic.
Yeah, there
Okay,
you go.
I thought
Just that
paper mosaic.
pronunciation. Yeah, I was pretty sure that's
Mosaic.
what you were saying, but yeah, there's a clear separation between the syllables there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Thank
mosaic.
you.
Yeah,
Mosaic.
no worries.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
No
Mosaic.
worries.
Okay, mosaic.
So
Just
you're
now I
using,
know this because I thought it's paper mosaic, eggshell mosaic. I'm just
yeah.
pronouncing it very fast. So it's
It's
mosaic.
not a very English sounding word really, because most of the time in English, if you have an A and an I together, then they merge into one syllable. But this is not the case. This is an
Okay.
exception. Yeah.
Mosaic.
But yeah, good. You were using some nice expressions. You were saying at one point that if my memory serves, which was quite nice, in order to provide context to what you were saying. Obviously, you're talking about the past, so it's a nice expression to use. You were using some idiomatic expressions as well, and you're using them appropriately. Just one bit of vocabulary. So at one point you said you smashed it, and then you said you you put it into small pieces.
No, it's not a smash. I just don't
Yeah,
I just don't
it sounded
remember
a little bit
the term.
out of place. So you tore it up, I think.
Need it. I need it. Need.
Oh, needed it.
N-E-A-D. Needed it. Yeah.
So what? But it was paper, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like you will press it. It will just you press it after you soak it in water, and then you will
Okay.
press it together to stick using the glue so that it will
Okay.
stick. Oh, yeah. So
Okay. Nice. Okay. So like so like
I use the
flattened it
wrong. Yeah,
and rolled it. Yeah.
flatten. Knead it.
Flattened, kneaded it.
It's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
you're making a bread. You need to knead it. Knead it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Is that
Yeah.
the right
More.
term? Knead.
Yeah.
Knead.
Yeah. You could. Yeah. To knead it. Yeah. If you're using a
Knead.
rolling pin. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah.
knead.
Yeah. You could say
Roll.
knead it or flatten it. Yeah. I think
Flatten.
both
Oh, maybe
would
I
work in
will
that
use that.
context.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Just I thought I would check that. And then then you said you put it into small pieces. So I think that's tear. You tore it.
I
Is that
tore
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So after you finish kneading it and flattening it, you tore it into pieces.
Tore.
But yeah. So yeah, just a little bit of vocabulary there, just to make your ideas a bit clearer. And then just some slight slips. So at one point you said when I was on primary school, but it would be in when I was in or at.
In.
Yeah, either one. When I was in primary school or at primary school would have
Okay.
been the appropriate preposition to use there. And then just a final point, you said
On.
that your, I think it was your boss or your colleague was really happy. You said after giving that gift, but it would
Boss
be
and friend.
after receiving the gift in that context, wouldn't it? Because obviously you gave
Okay.
them the gift, but they were happy after receiving it. So again, just in terms of coherence, it would have been more. It would have been clearer to have used that term. But yeah, some really good stuff again there, Angie, particularly in
Thank
terms of your
you.
fluency and pronunciation. So well done.
I will continue eating. I'll drink
Yeah.
water. I didn't drink water because I stopped eating the moment you you called my name.
Okay.
I'll leave
Okay.
my
Well,
food there. Thank you.
no worries. Take care, Angie. Okay, so thank you for all those who have participated in the class today. For those who are watching on YouTube and Facebook, and for those that were involved directly in the class as well, it was great to have you involved. Yeah, I hope to see you all next week. So it just remains for me to remind those who are watching on YouTube and Facebook, if you do want to get involved directly in these classes and have extra support in terms of passing your IELTS exam and working as a nurse in the United States, then do join us at the IELTS Scholarship Program. Here at Swoosh and Connetics, we are here to support you and provide you with assistance and advice in terms of achieving those goals. If you click on the link in the description, then you could get all of the support potentially for free. So do click on that link in the description and click on the option Staff Nurse. So apart from that, once again, a very big thank you to all of those who were involved in today's class. Apologies for those who have not been able to get involved today, who have joined live in the class, but if you weren't involved this week, then I will certainly make all efforts to get you involved in next week's class. So take care and see you all next week.